Hello and welcome to Japan Lyric Room. In this program, we carefully taste the lyrics of Japanese songs, delivering the meanings contained in the phrases and the unique Japanese cultural background in an easy-to-understand way. I'm your host, and I'm really looking forward to unpacking the words that make Japanese music so special.
And I am here to help explain those meanings. It's a real pleasure to be here. Today, we are looking at a song that is just an absolute monumental track in the landscape of Japanese pop music.
We really are covering a classic today.
Yeah.
The song is Mou Koi Nante Shinai by Noriyuki Makihara. And for those of you who might know a bit of Japanese, the title roughly translates to, I won't say I'll never fall in love again.
Right.
It was released way back on May 25, 1992. I mean, think about 1992 for a second. No smartphones, no texting, no ghosting people on social media.
A very different era for romance, certainly. You couldn't just block someone online. You had to physically avoid them or deal with their memory in your physical space.
Right.
And yet, despite being over 3 decades old, this track remains the gold standard for breakup songs in Japan. It captures a specific kind of male heartbreak that is both, well, it's a bit pathetic, but also incredibly endearing.
Before we get into tasting the lyrics, which I know we want to spend a lot of time on today, we have to talk about the origin story. Because when I first heard this song, I just assumed Makihara, the singer, had just gone through the worst breakup of his entire life.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. The vocals are just dripping with pain. But that's not actually what happened, is it?
No, it isn't. And that is the fascinating piece of trivia that completely changes how you hear the song. This wasn't Makihara's personal heartbreak at all. The song was actually based on the real-life experience of the band's music producer at the time, Akimitsu Hanma.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The producer gets dumped, and Makihara, who is just the singer, decides to write a song about his boss's pain. That feels, I don't know, almost invasive.
It does sound a bit strange on paper. Hanma was the keyboardist and the producer, and apparently his partner left him very suddenly. It was one of those really jarring breakups where the furniture is just gone before you even realize what's happening.
Wow.
Yeah. And Makihara was only 23 at the time. He essentially acted like a scribe. He listened to the producer's raw, unfiltered venting, and he just wrote down the feelings exactly as they were shared.
That is wild. It's like he was a court stenographer for someone else's emotional trauma. But I guess at 23, you have that specific kind of empathy where you can just absorb someone else's emotion like a sponge.
Exactly. And because he was literally listening and writing it down, the lyrics don't feel like a vague, poetic idea of sadness. They feel like a direct transcript of reality.
Yeah.
It captures the producer's real confusion, the sudden loss of his daily routine, and that very human, bluffing strength we try to put on when we are deeply hurt.
It's really interesting you mentioned that bluffing strength because recently this song has found a bizarre second life. If you go on TikTok right now, especially in Indonesia, this 1992 Japanese ballad is absolutely everywhere.
It is a true viral phenomenon over there. It actually topped the Billboard Japan songs in Indonesia for 3 consecutive weeks recently. But the reason is, well, it's not initially because of the relatable heartbreak.
It's the visual, right? I saw some of the videos.
It is. People noticed that Noriyuki Makihara, especially in his younger years, bears a very striking resemblance to the former Indonesian president, Jokowidodo, who is affectionately known as Jokowi.
That is hilarious. So you have all these teenagers in Indonesia sharing this devastatingly sad song just because the singer looks like their former president.
Initially, yes. It started purely as a meme. Look, the president is singing. But this is where the sheer power of music comes in. It transcended the visual joke very quickly. The melody is just so incredibly catchy, and the emotion in his voice is so universal that young people on TikTok, who probably don't understand a word of the Japanese lyrics at first, just fell in love with the feeling of the song itself.
That is the ultimate test of a good song. Even if it starts as a meme, if the melody and the emotion hold up, it sticks with you. But today, we're going to go beyond the melody. We are going to taste these lyrics phrase by phrase to understand why this song has held up for over 30 years.
Let's do it.
We have 7 key phrases to look at. All right, phrase 1. This sets the scene immediately.
A very domestic image.
Very. In English, that translates to, I put the kettle on the fire, but I don't know where the tea is.
This is such a brilliant opening line because it establishes the protagonist's total helplessness in his own home right off the bat. Think about the action here. He is attempting a very small act of self-reliance. He's just boiling water.
Right. Step 1 of being an independent adult. Make tea. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Exactly. He succeeds at step 1. He puts the kettle on the fire, but then he hits a brick wall. He doesn't know where the tea is actually kept. This tells us everything about the dynamic in their relationship. He completely relied on her for the texture of his daily life.
The texture of daily life. I like that phrase.
Yeah, she was the one who organized the home, who knew where the tea was. He attempts to do this active action of boiling water, but it only highlights the reality of the producer's experience. He is completely lost in his own home.
Is it just that he's lazy, though? I mean, he could just look in the cupboard, right?
It's not laziness. It's about the sudden disruption of a shared ecosystem. When you live with someone, you outsource parts of your brain to them. His life is incomplete without her, and the whistling kettle just aggressively reminds him of that.
That makes a lot of sense. It's devastatingly mundane. It's not some grand poetic statement like, miss the warmth of your smile. It's literally, I can't find the tea bags. That feels so much more real.
It grounds the entire song in reality.
Moving on to phrase 2. This one gets into the physical sensation of the breakup.
This one requires a bit of cultural context to fully grasp.
Okay, let me give the translation first. It means, the view is better than usual. I'm a little bewildered by the space on my left.
So, the left side. In Japanese couple culture, partners often settle into very fixed standing or walking positions.
Oh, totally. Like when you're walking down the street to the train station, the guy might walk on the traffic side to be protective, so she is always on his left side.
Precisely. You get so used to someone being right there in your peripheral vision, it becomes muscle memory, so now she is gone. And he says, the view is better than usual. This is that painful bluffing we talked about earlier. He is trying to be sarcastic. He's trying to convince himself, hey, look, nothing is blocking my view anymore. This is great. I can see the whole street.
But he is totally lying to himself.
Completely. Because in the very next breath, he admits he is bewildered by the empty space on his left. He is physically disoriented by her absence. His mind is trying to play it tough, but his body is just confused by the cold, empty space where she used to be.
It's like a phantom limb sensation. You instinctively reach out to hold a hand, you just grab empty air. That bewilderment is such a specific, jarring feeling.
It really is.
Okay, phrase 3. This is the hook, it's the title of the song, and honestly, it's a bit of a grammatical puzzle.
This is the core philosophy of the entire song.
The English translation is, I definitely won't say that I'll never fall in love again.
Let's analyze the grammar here because it's brilliant. It is a double negative. It literally translates to won't say plus won't love.
It's a bit of tongue twister, though. Why go through all those mental gymnastics? Why not just say, I will love again, or I'm going to find someone new?
Because that would be entirely too confident for someone who is currently in the middle of a heartbreak. If he said, I will love again right now, it would be a flat-out lie. He is in too much pain for that.
Right.
The psychology here is incredibly realistic. When you are deeply hurt, your first human impulse is to scream, I will never fall in love again. It hurts too much. I'm completely done with romance.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've all been there. You just want to become a hermit.
Right. But here, he is fighting that initial defensive impulse. By denying that negative thought, he creates what we can call a paradoxical hope.
A paradoxical hope. So he is leaving the door cracked open, even if he doesn't want to walk through it yet.
Exactly. And the word zetai at the end, which means absolutely or definitely, is so crucial here. It is a vow to himself. He is promising himself that he will recover eventually.
That is a very quiet kind of strength. It's not toxic positivity, it's just raw resilience. Let's look at phrase 4. This image always makes me laugh a little, but then I instantly feel bad for laughing.
It's a very striking visual.
The translation is, me hugging this trash bin. I must look more sentimental than anyone else in the eyes of others.
To really understand this, we have to look at what he is actually doing in the lyrics just before this. He mentions trying to throw away her old toothbrush and the clothes she liked.
The classic post-breakup purge. You just have to get rid of the evidence.
Exactly. He is trying to be manly and clean. He wants to wipe the slate clean. But the reality of the situation is that he is standing there, literally clutching a trash can full of her belongings.
Hugging the trash can.
Hugging it. He is trying to throw things away, but he can't let go of the bin itself. It looks ridiculous and pathetic, and he knows it. That is where the word sentimental comes in.
Sentimental.
Right. Using the specific English loanword in Japanese shows a level of self-mockery. He knows he looks emotional and uncool. He is stepping outside of himself for a second and saying, man, I look pathetic right now.
It's that moment of harsh self-awareness where you realize you are the main character in a really sad movie, but it's also kind of a comedy.
It perfectly balances the tragedy with humanness.
I love that honesty.
Yeah.
Phrase 5 takes us deeper into the realization of what he is actually trying to throw away.
This is a really profound cultural and personal realization.
The translation is, I realized that living surrounded by useless things was actually happiness.
This is the contrast between minimalism and love. When you live a single life, it can be very efficient. You only have exactly what you need. It's clean.
Efficiency is great, but a perfectly clean bachelor pad can feel like a sterile hotel room sometimes.
Exactly. A shared life, on the other hand, is full of useless things. Mementos, silly souvenirs, extra cushions, things that have no practical function but carry immense emotional weight.
The clutter.
The clutter. Here he realizes that the clutter was the actual evidence of their time together. The clutter was the love, and notice the past tense verb at the end, shita.
Meaning, I realized or I knew.
Right. Putting it in the past tense emphasizes the deep sadness that he only understood this after losing her. He didn't appreciate the useless things until he was left alone with them.
It's so hard. You don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Yeah.
All right, moving to phrase 6. This one deals with the lingering administrative side of a breakup, which is honestly the worst part.
It really is a modern tragedy.
Which translates to, as long as mail addressed to you keeps arriving in the mailbox.
This is all about the lingering connection. Even after she physically moves out of the apartment, society doesn't update its databases instantly.
Right, the post office doesn't know your heart is broken. The junk mail still comes.
And that mail acts as a physical tether. Every time he checks the post, he sees her name on an envelope. It forces him to think about her. Does she need this bill? Should I text her about this catalog?
It keeps him in that caregiver role. It completely prevents him from fully detaching.
Yes. It represents a lingering affection that is almost too gentle. As long as the mail arrives, he can't fully cut the cord. It captures how incredibly difficult it is to untangle two lives that were knotted together.
It's torture, but it's a soft torture. You almost want the mail to stop, but you also secretly dread the day her name stops showing up.
Very true.
And finally, phrase 7. This is the resolution. And honestly, it sounds a little harsh when you first hear it.
This is a crucial turning point.
The translation is, the answer we couldn't find together, I'll find it with someone else you don't know who I'll meet next time.
The key phrase to focus on here is, someone you don't know.
Yeah, that sounds a bit aggressive. It's like he's saying, I'm going to replace you with a total stranger.
It does feel sharp, but it is absolutely necessary for his survival. That phrase signifies a complete break and true independence. Up until now, he has been relying on her memory. But here, he declares he is stepping out of her shadow entirely.
So he isn't asking her to come back and fix the relationship. He's not begging.
No, he isn't. He is acknowledging that they had a puzzle, the puzzle of love, and they failed to solve it together. But instead of giving up, he says, I will use this painful experience to solve that puzzle with a new partner.
So the stranger represents a clean slate.
Exactly. It is the most sincere form of moving forward. He isn't relying on her anymore.
That is heartbreakingly healthy. It's sad because it truly marks the end. But it's hopeful because he's willing to try again. So we've walked through the kettle, the left side, the trash bin, and the future stranger. If you had to summarize the emotional landscape of this song, how would you put it?
I think fundamentally this song is an anthem for clumsy adults.
Clumsy adult.
Yeah. It balances the bluff, saying the view is better with the harsh reality of hugging a trash can, but the core message is that warm prayer of the double negative.
Refusing to say he won't love again.
Right. It acknowledges the excruciating pain, but refuses to completely close off the heart to future love. It's a promise to survive.
That is a beautiful way to put it. It's amazing how his song from 1992 about a music producer's bad breakup can resonate with teenagers in Indonesia and with you and me here today. It just shows that the awkwardness of heartbreak is truly universal.
Absolutely. We all fumble with the tea leaves sometimes.
We certainly do. Well, thank you so much for listening again today. We pick up various Japanese songs and update detailed commentaries on our website. If you want to taste the lyrics more deeply, please check the website from the link in the description.
Yes, there's so much more to explore there.
If you like this program, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any impressions of this episode or requests for songs you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments.
We really do love reading your thoughts. See you next time.
This was Japan Lyric Room.